4-я песня, глава 30-я. Текст какой сегодня? 8-й текст.
Hello, dear friends. We continue to read Srimad Bhagavatam. Today it's Canto 4th, Chapter 30, verse 8.
Читай санскрит. Бхакти Парашута.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha Varam Grimikam Madrango Yunam Yenripa Nandana Sauhar Dena Prithak Harmas Tushtoham Sauhridinamaha.
Пословный.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Shri Bhagavan Vacha.
Господь, Верховная Личность Бога, сказал.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, benediction, ask good fortune of you, from me, O sons of the King, by friendship, non-different, occupation, pleased, I, by friendship of you. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear sons of King, I am very much pleased by your friendship among you. All of you are engaged in one occupation, devotional service. I am so pleased with your mutual friendship that I wish you all good fortune. Now you may ask a benediction of me. So there is a description of realization of the wishes, the reasons for it. Every living entity is dependent on its dreams, the realizations of the dreams. But one living being is not. Eko Bahunam. One living being is making all the dreams of others come true. According to our nature, we are hoping for someone to make our dreams come true. We hope there will be some luck coming from someone. If there is no one to make our dreams come true, we expect for some situations. And we are always in search, hopelessly in search, because in this material world, people don't know how to get what they want. Because of this motive in this Sohridam, the heart. Hrida means heart. The reason should be inside of the person. And here we have the description of the situation. We should be friendly, in friendly attitude to everyone, should be kind to everyone. This is the main reason, and that's why the Lakshmi is given this fulfillment of the desires, and the Lord is sending His benedictions. For Madhyama, that was Uttama description, and for Madhyama Adhikar, we have the description of his attitude here. And the Lord is ready to give His benediction. And friendship in Sanskrit means Sauhardena. And in mundane world, the friendship based on the material gain Chanakya Pandit said that you should never tell everything to your friends and close ones because they have false ego and their attitude can be changed. And if you are enemies, after all, they will know everything about you. That's a typical stories in politics. That includes friendship and sincerity, and then when things are changed, they become enemies. When you know your enemy less, you're less afraid of him. Where do they come from, these enemies? If you're a king or you have a family and relatives, how to make your children to remain your friends when you are giving some kind things, pushing them for it. When you're president of the temple, the manager, or the king, it doesn't matter. If you push your good ideas forward, the Lord will not be satisfied with that. And the ones that follow you will not support you in that, and they will not be happy. So the reason for this friendship was that in this verse that they were going through austerities together. In some other place, it is, well, here it's more like a brief information we're getting, but in some Puranas and other places, we get to know more about it. And austerities were really complicated. Really, it was a hard thing to do. And they were underwater for a long time. That was a hard thing to do. Prabhupada was remembering that in the days when he was still a child, his father was serving all the sadhus. Even some of the sadhus were receiving marijuana from him on the holidays because he was like understanding what the hardships they were going through. Big austerities. In the age of Kali, these austerities are not prescribed to be followed. So those prachetas, they were sitting on the water, and it was a complicated task. We cannot do it even for half an hour. And they were going to sit there for a while and had some interaction, making pauses. And many times during this austerity, there was not a single time they blamed each other. Our austerity is a devotional service, and we getting tired, of course, and sometimes we're nervous and we blame each other in some faults and mistakes. And we don't know how not to blame someone. We don't know. What do you expect? This is, if something's wrong, this is Kali Yuga. If something's wrong, then we have the argument. The Vaishnavas say you need to preach, not preach and teach, not to argue. But if you're in the mood of argument, you're either a friend or enemy. If your material nature is working like this, we get into this relationship with this understanding. He might be my friend or my enemy. There is no third option. We need to understand there are no friends, no enemies whatsoever. There is no
И с
such
каждым
terms.
человеком можно
It's all
иметь
a
сердечные
mind
отношения.
platform. We can
Не
have
обязательно глубокие, глубочайшие, знаете, не
kind
обязательно, но
relationship
сердечные.
with
С каждым
everyone,
человеком, у каждого есть
heart
сердце.
loving
Это иногда
relationship
интеллект духовный. Это и
with
есть
everyone. That's why we have
духовный
this
чистый интеллект,
spiritual
который видит
intellect,
душу видит.
spiritual
У
intelligence. We
каждого
can
человека
see the
особенно есть
soul
душа.
in everyone.
Особенно у человека.
Every
Если, скажем,
living
у животных
entity
нет души,
has
то
a
у каждого
soul.
человека должна
Someone
быть
might
душа.
say
Чтобы
animism
согласиться, больше.
has no soul, have no soul.
Нам нужно помнить об этом,
Well,
увидеть эту душу.
at least
За его
people have, right?
характером, за его качествами, которые могут со мной несовместимы быть
Um,
совершенно с моими качествами природными.
So they might have
Всё же там
different
есть душа.
character,
И в каждом человеке, в каждом прабхупаде
but still
можно
there's a
пробудить
soul,
добродетель.
and
Почему?
the kind
У каждого есть мать.
attitude can be awakened into
Это
everyone.
путеводная нить в огне страсти.
When you're under the mode of
Даже
passion,
бандиты
you still
имеют этот сентимент.
can have this sentimental
Христос пошел дальше.
feeling in
Пробудил
you.
сентимент в
And
неверующих людях.
Jesus Christ, he was
И даже грешники плачут.
appealing to the sentimental mood of those
Даже грешники.
who've been
Друг всех живых существ, говорится. Вот каких живых существ?
dealing with
Таких
them.
греховных, таких падших. Друг? Всем друг? Конечно, это
A
уровень
friend
Иисуса
to
Христа.
everyone. This is the level of the
Vasudeva
Jesus
Datta,
Christ,
можно сказать.
or Vasudev Dutt,
Тхакура там есть.
or Haridas
Уровни
Thakur.
невероятные духовные,
Amazing height,
очень высоко. У меня без микроскоп, без телескопа.
very high. You can even see them, and Prabhupada is giving us this binocular.
Приближает наше внимание туда, вот к этой части,
He's
которую мы не замечаем.
concentrating our
Душу мы не видим,
vision
нужно увеличить,
on the soul
пересечь это пространство материальное
with
при
help
помощи йоги.
of yoga. We
Бхакти-йога
can
не
cross
садясь место
over
можно делать,
this space and
не
distance.
перемещаясь
Bhakti
физически.
yoga, when you
Они
engage in
замирают
it, you don't really need
на
to
долгое время.
do these
Это они остановились
long
в
walkings
материальной
to get through the distance.
Любая
You
материальная
immediately
деятельность — это
there.
движение.
Any material activities
Куда?
is a movement.
С духовной точки
Movement
зрения, куда
where?
человек двигается, он уходит от Бога.
From spiritual perspective,
Что бы он ни
where
делал,
does
что бы он
this
ни ел,
personality
какие бы
moves?
вещи не совершал, если он
Whatever
не
he
связан
does,
с
whatever
Богом,
he's
дистанция увеличивается.
he
Это движение души.
he's moving
Он
as
сам
a
создает
soul.
себе свой мир в мире Бога,
He's
называет его своими
towards God,
названиями, заполняет своими
and he's
потомками,
building that
наполняет
world that he
своими
makes inside of
концепциями,
the God's world with his own
организовывает свои
samskaras and his
общества,
own
и
relatives
дальше, и
and
дальше, и дальше, и дальше.
his own societies and
Сначала он
stuff,
благодарит Бога за
etc.
все, что есть.
At
На
first, he's
расстоянии уже на расстоянии.
grateful to the Lord at the
Ты
distance.
исполнитель желаний там, очень хорошо,
You're a
спасибо
wish
тебе,
maker.
что ты
Thank you so
исполняешь мои
much.
желания, даешь
You're
мне
making my
все.
wishes come true.
Потом думаешь,
You're a
ты не знаешь,
provider.
что тебе
You're giving me
благодарить,
everything.
сам
And
себе
with the
представь.
time, it's like, I don't know what I'm
Я начинаю
thanking
думать,
you
полезнее
for.
поклоняться все-таки сильным мира сего,
Probably
от
it's
них
better
явно я что-то
to
получаю. С
worship
ними сотрудничая,
those
служение.
who are in
О,
power in this world.
умозрительная концепция.
And the Lord is just some
Его
concept
вера уходит все дальше, дальше, дальше,
on the
дальше.
mental platform.
Затем,
And
когда он
his
начинает обманывать даже
faith is
вышестоящих, он
going
будет это делать,
further and further away.
видя их корысть особенно.
And with the time, he's
Почему служат этим людям?
starting to
Они
criticize
богаты, а я нет.
those he's serving
Становится
to,
вором.
those in
Злой
power,
авторитет вора.
because he starts to
И
see that
прибегая все
they're
больше и больше к хитрости, он
after
прибегает
material
к магии,
gain and they have these qualities that he wouldn't like.
начинает поклоняться привидениям и духам.
And with the time, he's just worshiping the
Опускается.
ghosts and spirits.
Ну, а
This is the
затем он лишается
degradation. And with the time, he's just losing his
подобным
mind,
такому существу.
becoming similar and
Одержим
identical
какой-то
to
мыслью.
the ghosts.
И он всю жизнь с этой мыслью проживает.
And he's just
Везде деньги,
living
везде деньги,
with
везде.
one single thought in his mind:
Жена ушла.
where
Где
should I get my money?
Где работа? Где работа?
My wife left
Где
me.
счастье?
Where's my job? Where is happiness?
Ничего.
Nothing
Нет
that
ответа,
he
ничего.
can see.
Вопроса даже не может задать.
He can't even ask the
Просто
question.
думает об этом. Где?
Just
Где?
thinking,
Где?
where is all mine?
Бездумно.
without even a single thought in his mind, just like a
Как будто он
ghost,
лишен тела человеческого.
as if he's
Дано
abandoned
тело человеческое с разумом.
by his body.
Читая
He has no
Священное
body.
Писание, найти общение более высокое.
But
Принцип
he
духовного
needs to
развития
find
это
this
найти общение более
association
высокое. Если я на каком-то духовном
that
уровне
elevates
нахожусь,
him.
я должен общаться, медитировать.
If I'm
тех,
on a
кто
certain
выше меня.
level, I need to meditate on those who are higher than me.
А это возможно только при наличии
It is
смирения. Вообще,
only
признать, что вот ты
possible
выше.
if I'm humble
Еще
enough
слушать эти
to
вещи,
appreciate
выполнять эти вещи.
what they're
Но это
telling
единственный
me
закон
and
для духовного развития.
if I follow in it
Если ты не видишь
and
никого выше себя,
fulfill
ты не сможешь
there's
продвигаться.
instructions. If I don't see anyone higher than me, I
Люди
cannot
хотят сами продвигаться.
develop.
Но
People always want to
как вы
develop
сами тронете
themselves.
свое сердце,
But
скажите?
how are you going to touch your heart by yourself?
Как вы сами пробудите свое
How are
сердце?
you going to
Как это
awaken
можно
your
сделать
heart?
самостоятельно? Без отношений, потому что сердце — это отношения.
How are you going to do it on your
Любовь —
own?
это
Your
отношения.
heart is always about relationship.
Как же мы сможем коснуться сердца, не имея отношений?
How do we touch the heart without relationship?
И более возвышенные преданные,
Those
они сразу не строят
devotees
отношения.
who are
сердечные.
higher, they are not
Они
making
сначала дают
this
наставление для очищения.
heart kind
Духовный
relationship
секрет, это
immediately
шиши-гуру,
with them,
просто святой человек,
good
которого
relationship.
встречаем. Они не сразу
They are making this pause. Those gurus
любовь
and
к Богу.
those devotees, they are not giving us
Нужно
love for
сначала
God immediately.
Писание.
At first, they're giving us the instructions and rules,
Этими вещами не разбрасываются.
prescribed duties, and
Это не мусор.
because it's
Это
not
вот
cheap,
на дороге.
it's
Это
not
нужно
the
взять
trash
из
that
сердца
you
и
see
поместить в
on the
сердце,
sides of the
куда
road.
еще? Вот в это место.
It
Тебе
should be
нужно в этом
put
сердце
in
место,
your
которое
heart directly, and you need to prepare your
Писание.
heart to receive it.
И когда ученик
These instructions are
следует
there
этим наставлениям
for it.
искренне старается,
And when a disciple
тогда
follows this
саду видит
sincerely, then the
это
sadhu
искреннее
sees
стремление,
this
его
sincere
сердце размягчается
intentions.
поведением этого преданного. Вот и все.
He knows his
Это
heart
становится причиной
is being
благословений.
softened. And that's the reason
Если
of the
сердце не
benedictions.
размягчается, откуда благословение могут взяться?
If the heart is not softened, then you can
Если кто-то
really
делает
get
много
any
вещей,
benediction.
даже трудится, но
If someone is
бескорыстными
engaged
мотивами,
in
желает
a lot
славы,
of labor,
ссорится с другими,
and at the
конкурирует,
same time
как
he's
не хотят
competing with
благословения.
others, and
Если даже
he
саду хочет благословить,
he
он
can't get any benedictions. Even if the sadhu wants to
это печально.
send his blessings to
Это
him,
печально.
he can't be a receiver.
Нужно как бы побудить садху. А как побудить
So you
садху?
need
Нужно
to
уподобиться ему.
really
Быть смиренным, терпеливым, то есть тоже развивать подобные
А.
качества. Для этого мы общаемся со старшими, не для того, чтобы получать инструкции,
the
двигаться по
sadhu
лестнице карьеры,
needs to
а для того,
feel
чтобы унаследовать их качества,
in an appropriate position to give you
более
blessings.
возвышенные качества.
So you
И
need
это
to
можно
develop
получить только
these
от личности,
qualities.
не просто прочитав
The
книгу.
qualities you get only from the personality,
И
not
Нарада Муни
through,
излагает
not from the
Dhruva
book.
Махараджу эту истину.
Narada
что
Muni
ты
is
достигнешь
giving this to
совершенства
Dhruva
просто
Maharaj. He's
способом.
saying there are three options for you to be successful:
служа
by
помогая
serving, by helping
младшим,
to the
равенстве в дружбе,
youngest,
с равными и
and
служа выполнения наставлений старших.
by being a friend to equal ones, and by serving
Совершенство жизни
those
достигает.
who are higher than you.
Если есть сострадание к младшим, дружеское расположение
If you
к
have
равным,
compassion to
если даже
the
мы несовершенны, но все равно
youngsters,
дружим,
and you have your friend
если даже
to
ошибаемся, все равно
equals,
мы дружеское расположение сохраняем.
even though
Если мы
you
слушаем
make a
старших,
mistake or whatever, you
будь нам
still
рекомендован,
feel kind
гарантирует совершенство.
and friendly,
Ну, Нарада так вот
and
может
you serve
коротко
the
это
seniors.
выразить.
That's
И,
what
конечно, мы должны
Narada
знать, что
Muni's
ж такое старшие, равные и младшие.
recipe, and we need to
Тоже наука
know
открывается.
who is
Духовная наука, она
equal,
открывает
who
нам
is lower,
вход в
who is
духовный мир.
higher than us.
М.
That's the
Самый
science
старший — это
of the
Верховный
spiritual
Господь, он самый
world.
старый, так?
The oldest one,
Кто самый
the
старый, вы должны
most
знать. Кто самый молодой, тоже самое, к нему это другое
Is
относится.
is the
Он
Lord.
старый, но не стареет.
He's
Он
the
молодой, но
oldest, but he's
мудрёный
ever young
старец,
and
самый
fresh,
мудрёный старец.
the wisest one.
И мы служим самому старшему. Служить старшим, в высшем смысле служить Богу и все, что связано с
And
Богом.
we are
Тот, кто знает
serving
науку о Боге больше, тот является
to
старшим.
the senior
Критерий Бога,
because he
уважение
knows
Бога,
the wisdom,
старшинство,
the
высшее
science of God.
В всяком случае, в материальном мире мы так
In the
должны
material
понимать.
world, this is how
В
we
духовном
need to
мире
understand
по-разному
it. In the
понимают,
spiritual world, there would be a
смотря где
different
находится
understanding.
живое существо.
It would
Вайкунтха-лока,
depend on where
или в
the living
пространстве,
entity is, whether he is in
Брахма-джоти,
Brahman or Vaikuntha
Сидха-лока
Lok
называется.
or Siddha Lok
Либо он на Галоке,
or
в
on
какой-то
Galok
области, в разных
in
областях
some
находится.
region.
Там могут по-разному его
There
чувствовать и понимать.
he
И
might
даже
be
на одной
felt
локе, это
differently.
Вайкунтха-лока, жители тоже разные
Even
имеют
on
отношения.
Vaikuntha Lok,
Каждый свой.
the residents of that lok have different
В династии
attitude.
Яду говорится, это
In
приближенные
the Yadu
Господу были.
dynasty, those
Самые
who
8
were close to the Lord,
Яду Вамша.
the Yadu Vamsha,
Потому что их соединил Господь.
victorious,
Они потом сказали,
they
что если
were
бы не
connected
ты,
by the Lord. They
если бы не
said
ты, в
that
нашем роду
if there were
появился,
no
если бы тебя не
you,
было, мы бы были все чужими людьми
we
друг
would
другу.
all be like strangers to each
Ты
other.
сделал эту мощную вот эту Вамшу.
You've made
Ты
it
соединил нас всех.
a strong Vamsha. You
Среди них
connected
были
all of
даже
us.
такие преданные, которые имели разногласия с ним.
Because
И
even
даже в
those who
каком-то смысле враждебно относились к нему
had
со стороны
some
его поведения.
arguments
Это была его семья.
with
тем
others,
не менее.
they were still connected by Lord
Разные
Krishna.
отношения есть.
So there could be different attitudes,
Не думайте, что
different
живое существо всегда во
relationships.
всем соглашается.
And
Теория
you
чистая.
should never think that the living
Нет,
being is
есть свое
always
эго.
should always
Но
just
ложное
nod
здесь, там оно истинное,
their
это тоже эго.
heads and always agree. No,
Христос сказал об
it
этом.
would have some ego.
Отец сказал сыну, иди сделай
It's
это.
just like Jesus Christ
Не
said,
пойду, он
the
сказал.
Father said to
Не
his
буду.
son, no,
Не может так
you
советовать.
got to do this.
Делай
And he
сам.
said
Всё.
no.
Бунт.
He was rebellious.
Ну, поступай как
He
хочешь.
said no. And the father said,
Подумал,
oh, whatever,
пошел сделал.
you can do whatever. And the son thought, and he did it.
А другой сын
And the other
сказал, иди
son,
сделай. Да, отец, пойду.
he
И
was
не
told
пошел,
by
не
his
сделал.
father, do this. And he
Так кто
said,
из них выполнил
yes,
волю?
I
Кто-то
will do.
бунтовал или кто-то соглашался?
But that one didn't do anything. So who really
Так что
fulfilled the
справедливость,
desire of the
справедливый,
father?
справедливый
The one
Господу,
who was rebellious or the one
которого
who
очень
said
трудно
yes
понять.
but never did?
Господа трудно понять,
The
душу
Lord
тоже
is
трудно
hard
понять.
to understand.
Даже свою душу трудно понять.
Even your own soul is hard to understand.
Вы думаете, лилы Господа, они запланированы?
You think that there is
каком-то
some kind of a
смысле, да.
schedule for leelas
Когда вы
of the
туда
Lord?
попадаете,
Yes, in some sort.
вы не можете ничего планировать.
But when you are there, you can't
Все наши
make
планы
any
теряют
plans
силу.
really.
Вас несет течение.
You're
Раз.
being
И вы даже не
streamed,
знаете, что вы сейчас сделаете.
and you don't even know what you're gonna
Можете
do.
натворить там дело, подумать, боже мой, что
You
я
might
натворил.
do so many
Но поскольку там Кришна
things
говорит, все
that you
правильно.
will think, oh my God, what
Как
am
это
I
было с
doing? But
пандавами?
because Krishna is there, he's saying that's okay.
Боже, что же я
Just
натворил?
like it was with the
Я убил
Pandavas.
Карну безоружного. Арджуна говорит,
And
«Всё
they were
правильно,
saying,
говорит Кришна.
Arjun was saying like, oh my
Ой,
God,
что ж
I
ты натворила,
killed
Драупади?
Karna.
Ты
And he
посмеялась над
was,
Дурёдханой. Это же
he had no
последствия будут. Кришна
weapons
говорит, «Всё
even.
правильно».
And Krishna was saying, it's okay.
Как же мы убили Бхишму?
How did we kill Bhishma?
Все-таки это было
It was
правильно.
not
Бхишма,
right.
это было задумано
And
Господом
Bhishma
с
was
самого начала,
saying,
правильно.
it was the Lord's plan
Как же мы убили
from the
Дурёдхану?
very beginning.
Нарушив все правила предписания. Кришна говорит, окей.
How did we kill
Всё
Duryodhana? We went
И даже
against
когда
all the
преданный как будто
prescriptions,
ошибается в этом
and the
плане,
Lord was saying, it's
Кришна говорит,
okay.
я тебя защищу, ты хорошо.
And when someone,
Я их
one,
превращу
when
в
a
благо.
devotee is making a mistake, Krishna is saying,
Не
I will
думайте, что
protect
духовный мир — это
you
мир
from
подчинения.
everything.
Это мир свободы.
You shouldn't think that
Там просто есть любовь к
it's
Богу.
spiritual world.
Полная,
It's about always
безупречная любовь к Богу.
agree,
Безусловная любовь.
agreement, like you always agree to the Lord's will? No, but you always love Him. So you should not think that those who agree, they are pure devotees. I know so many devotees who were rebellious, not following, and ISKCON was pushing them and trying to suppress them, but now they are good leaders. This way or another way, it depends not on a discipline, it depends on loyalty and devotion to the Lord. Sometimes a devotee has bad manners. You talk to him and you always feel uneasy. But he's always in the service. Have you seen ones like that? Almost every one of us. We don't like everything in ISKCON, but we're still doing the service. We say, I don't like this and that, and still we serve. Because we are individual souls. This individuality is contaminated in the material world, but it exists. It's imperfect in the material world. There is no reason for, if it's imperfect, there is no reason to suppress it. We study each other. Krishna gathered us here so we could study each other. But when we are starting to touch the hearts of everyone, then Krishna is giving us the intelligence. And He's saying, you can ask for whatever you want. This is how important to associate with the devotees. It's a great science. Please do not separate the association with the devotees from the God's association. Tad vidhi pranipatana. It doesn't say that it's only Diksha who knows. Guru also knows. It's a principle. So we need to study each other through the years of service till the end. We need to see that devotees are sadhus. All of them are saints. The beginners, those who have failures, they're still sadhus. If they're sincere, they're laying in that category. Those who are not sincere, they will leave. You don't really need to push them away. Those who are not sincere, they will go away. For some time, a person might go away, and then he would come back. You would say, he was not a devotee, so he left. And then in a few years, he comes back and he's saying, here I am, back. And how would you feel in that case? The other person's soul is something we don't know. So it is very important to have kind mood for those you deal with. Since the sons of King Prachinabharhisat were all united in Krishna consciousness, the Lord was very pleased with them. Each and every one of the sons of King Prachinabharhisat was an individual soul, but they were united in offering transcendental service to the Lord. See, Prabhupada is saying, but we might showcase our individual characteristics, and there's cooperation. The Prachetas cooperation had no motives. They would serve the Lord without any expectations. I don't need anything from you. You don't need anything from me.
Ничего не ожидаю от других, так говорится.
We have no expectations from
Живите,
others.
ничего не ожидая от других. Это, конечно,
That's how we
саньяса.
need to live.
Это высокий вот
That's
это
pretty
вот
much
чтение начинается
like
всё
a
с
sannyas.
смирения, терпения.
It's a long
Чтение.
process that starts with the
А переходит в то, что мы
being
ничего ни от кого
humble
не
and,
ожидаем в этом мире, занимаясь активной деятельностью.
but with the time we're living in
Когда
this
мы ничего
world
не делаем, понятно, что мы ничего не
with no
ожидаем.
expectations from
Но даже в этом
anyone in
случае
this
ожидаем,
world.
правда же? Дети ожидают все равно. Ничего не делая, ожидают, что родители все
The
ожидают.
kids are waiting for their parents
А нужно
to
вырасти из
do
этого
something
состояния.
for them.
Итак, когда мы активно действуем, это труднее
But when we
становится, не
are
ожидать
active,
ничего, нет.
actively,
А как же это
when we
сделать,
are
как это
active in this
осуществить?
world,
Помогать Кришне,
we tend to expect,
Кришна и сердце отвечает, принимает это все.
and you can offer it to
Он
Krishna.
необычно принимает.
Krishna is in every living
Принимать в
being's
духовном
heart.
смысле означает не
He's
отбирать,
accepting,
не присваивать, а распространять. Преданный все, что принимает, распространяет.
the
Это
devotee
Кришна все, что принимает, тут же распространяет, ему ничего не нужно.
and the Lord,
Так он поддерживает все
everything
живые
he is
существа.
being offered to.
Принимая
He's
почтение,
spreading.
поклонение, там,
That's what you
обрядовую
do.
деятельность,
You need
аскезы,
to
покаяние,
spread
там, не знаю, все, что люди делают, все живые существа. Даже если не делают это не для Бога,
whatever
они все равно делают ягью, они
austerities
все
people
равно
are doing,
невольно
people are
это
going
делают для
through,
Бога, неосознанно для Бога.
even though they do
Он
it
это использует
unconsciously,
для
all the
блага всех живых
austerities,
существ.
the Lord accepts and He's spreading it
Если вы даже насекомое, говорится, кору грызете,
to all the living
вы грызете-то ведь для Кришны,
beings.
просто не знаете об этом.
Even if you're a bug
Он прогрызает свой путь к Богу.
eating your way
Мы его
through
проедаем
this
просадом, он прогрызает.
skin of the tree,
Мы немножко знаем, что
this
это
is
об
your
этом. Он, конечно,
service.
ничего не знает, но Кришна
He
в его
might
сердце
do it
знает,
unconsciously,
куда он
but the
грызет,
Lord
куда он
knows
грызет.
where He eats
Эволюция.
that skin, in
Он
what
переносится
direction.
выше, 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 Господь ведет
That's
его.
evolution, and the
Он
Lord
не
is
знает
leading
даже
him.
ничего, просто грызет.
He doesn't know anything. He's just
Ест,
eating
совокупляется, обороняется, тоже
He eats,
живет
he
как животное, но
mates,
куда он идет? Он идет
and
к
sleeps
Богу тоже,
and
в человеческую
fights,
форму жизни.
but he's going towards the human form of life.
Удивительно устроен мир.
That's the miracle of life.
Итак, это служение Господу, оно
So this
объединяет
service
всех,
to the
видите,
Lord
в
is
материальном мире, может быть, в
combining
невежестве, но в любом случае,
everyone.
Господь, когда принимает, Он тут же награждает.
The
Это
Lord,
одно и
when
то
He's
же
offering something, He's
на трансцендентном
that's
уровне.
His immediately
Это так
He
же, как отдать
is
пищу желудку
giving
означает
His blessings.
удовлетворить все тело.
It's just like giving something to your
То же самое.
stomach.
Правильно понятно.
Immediately, you give blessings to the whole
Единство
body.
индивидуальных душ,
The unity of the individual souls attempting to satisfy the Supreme Lord or rendering service to the Lord is real unity.
осознанное единство,
In the material world,
подлинное единство. В
this is
материальном
a
мире
conscious
такого единства
unity.
не
In the
существует.
material world,
Даже если
such
люди
unity is not
формально
possible.
объединяются для
Even though
чего-то,
people may
каждый из них
officially
преследует
unite,
свои
they
цели.
all have different
Так у
interests.
каждой страны,
In the United
входящей в
Nations,
Организацию Объединенных
for
Наций,
instance,
свои
all the
национальные
nations have their
амбиции.
particular national
Поэтому между ними
ambitions,
нет и не может
and
быть единства.
consequently, they
В материальном
cannot be
мире
united.
индивидуальные души так
This
разобщены, что
unity
даже
between individual
обществе
souls is
сознания
so
Кришны
strong within this material world that
порой
even
нет
in
единства
this society of
из-за
Krishna
того,
consciousness,
что его члены
members
расходятся
sometimes
во мнениях
appear disunited due to their having
начинают
different
преследовать материальные цели.
opinions and living towards
По сути
material
дела, в
things.
обществе сознания Кришны не
Actually, in
может быть
Krishna
двух мнений.
consciousness,
У всех
there
у нас
can be
одна цель
two,
— отдавать все
cannot be
силы
two
служению Кришне.
opinions. There is only one goal, to
И
serve
если в
Krishna
процессе
to
служения у нас
one's best
возникают
ability.
какие-то
If there is some
разногласия, их следует
disagreement
считать
over service,
духовными.
such disagreements is to
Вот
be
такой
taken
сильный
as
комментарий Прабхупады
spiritual.
описывает здесь.
This is
Вся
strong.
философия в этом, в практике.
All the philosophy is
Практическая
pretty
философия.
practical.
Мы учим шастры, мы видим, что это.
When we study
Здорово.
Shastras, we see that
Если вы любому мошеннику скажете, что
you say
жить
something
нужно
to
лучше,
any
чем с ней, он
rascal,
согласится.
you tell
Ваш
him
мошенник.
you
Скажет, да,
need to live
просто мы не можем в этом мире честно жить.
the righteous way, and he would say yes,
Но в
but
сердце
we
человек
cannot
согласится.
live.
Он говорит, да,
In his heart, he will accept
но
it,
где эта честность?
but then he
Мы
would
это
say
согласны,
like,
нас так и
where's
учили с
this
детства.
honesty and
Отец и мать, может быть.
how can we live it this way? We've been taught by our mother and father in childhood that this is the way we need to live, but we cannot be honest in this world. That's the situation. If we have some agreements, if there is some disagreement over service, such disagreements is to be taken as spiritual. Disagreements are usually being found among the equal devotees. For example, the planes can be crashed into each other on the same height. If you see someone who is in conflict or in argument with another, it means they're on the same level. And if someone who is senior and he's in conflict with the youngster, it means the one who's been higher, he went down on the level of youngster. Because senior, usually he's fixing the solution on the other level. So if there is a conflict between the devotees, you need to understand there is a Krishna between them. He's there to teach both sides. And it's really aching, this conflict is, they're blaming each other, they hate each other, with the time they see nothing good in each other. But when we talk about devotees, the devotees start to understand that all the ages have been passed, all the limits been passed, and they start to feel bad because they're losing Krishna. And they start to listen to the instructions. And the instructions are saying, Prabhupada saying that you need to cooperate, not being suppressed, not try to suppress someone, but cooperate. For a long time, we thought Prabhupada meant that everyone needs to work under GBC. But with the time, after the conflict with that devotee, we understood that Prabhupada said, work with GBC, cooperate. There was just one word that we've been mistaken. And with the time, we understand when we are in this service for a long time and we are leaders, we think that people should be suppressed or they should follow us, but like one devotee was hit by one of the senior sannyasis, disciples of Srila Prabhupada. He didn't want to wake up for Mangal Arati. And Prabhupada was invited because the devotee was going to sue the guy. And there was a freshman. And Prabhupada said, there is no need to wake up anyone for Mangal Arati. You just need to do it yourself. You need to make this atmosphere so everyone else would wake up. Of course, there should be some order, but you need to be doing things that everyone wants to go to this Mangal Arati. If he doesn't want, then you need to preach him, or he should not live in the temple. That's what you need to do. You need to fix it with the preaching. He was not judging anyone. He just said, this is the thing you need to do, and these are the things you should avoid doing. And it requires some time. With the danda, of course, if you hit someone with danda, he will be awakened immediately, but he will leave. And without the danda, you need to preach for a long time. That's what we think. It means we don't have the spiritual power in us. If we preach someone and give him instructions and he's not listening to us for several times, we need to stop doing that and get some more spiritual power. We need to stop, avoid this destruction, and we need to get some more understanding. Prabhupada, in the Western world, he could love people so much that he would awaken their spirit. The devotees knew how Prabhupada was thinking about these European languages and cultures. He was saying that there is so much glamour in the French language, and German sounds like the barking of the dog. And we even started to argue between each other, saying that Prabhupada could not say it like that. But Mataji Mandakini was there, and we asked her, and she said, yes, yes, but he loved those devotees he'd been talking to. He loved those people. He was making fun. Hridayananda Maharaj, he was remembering Prabhupada. He said, I got sannyas from Prabhupada, and he was my guru, and he was my example, and I was attached to him very closely. I was learning from him. But now I remember that time, Prabhupada was always making fun of me. He was not angry with me. He was just humorous with me. And we were inspired all the time because of that. And there were no conflicts. Even though he might be, at some moment he might be angry for a second, it will go away immediately when we have fixed such a strong spiritual power that Prabhupada had. Krishna is never in conflict. He's like, if we don't like the Krishna consciousness, he will find some other place for us. There's so many places we can go. For everyone, there is a place. Every living entity has its own corner. He's the richest person. He's reciprocating our desires. We might think it's a punishment, but Krishna, by himself, is doing it. He's not doing this. His energies might punish. Because even the punishment done by Krishna is auspicious. Krishna is all auspicious. But punishment without Krishna is not auspicious at all. The punishment of Krishna is when you have an instructions. It's enlightenment. It's so auspicious. It's goodness. Someone said, Swamiji, Prabhupada, I am not against, I don't mind to be a dog. What's the deal? And Prabhupada said, you have my benedictions. No problem. There are so many dogs. You can join those groups. Someone likes it. Someone likes to be a dog. So Krishna himself, he is not an enemy of the jiva, or the representative of the punishment system. We are appealing not to his punishment powers or his universal form. Arjuna said, I want to see your two-handed form, because you're Suhridam, you're my friend. And we need to learn how to become friends. Suhridam, what it is. Suhridam means Krishna is saying, you can ask for whatever you want. I will grant all your wishes. Whatever you want to make for Krishna, He will provide you with whatever you need. Once I've asked a devotee, a disciple of Prabhupada, and he's, how can I make this project going? I need so much. And he said, we need to be sincere, and Krishna will give you this opportunity. That's easy. So if we're really sincere, Krishna will give it to us. On a material level, it will depend on karma, on destiny. If you're otherwise, you'll be a failure. There is a law. But if you serve Krishna, there is no karma law available for you, because we're not making it for ourselves. Karma is dealing with everything we make for ourselves. But when I want to serve Krishna without any motives, expectations for gain, everything's changing in my life. My karma is not allowing me to have a house, but I'm building a temple, and then I live there, attended Mangala Arati. I still have no house, but I have the roof. I live in a temple, so I'm kind of avoiding, I'm kind of escaping my destiny. Some people might have no children because of their karma, but if you become a spiritual master, you get in so many children. Prabhupada was saying, when I accepted sannyas, I took the sannyas and I thought I lost everything. My friends, my family, my children, my material life is over. But then he said, now I see that Krishna gave me so many spiritual children, much better than the ones I had. So there is no karma. Even good karma goes away, not only bad one. You need to wait for some time and it will go away. There is a good weather. No, just hold on. And now there's a bad weather. There is a bad weather. No, hold on. It will go away. Madras Pashastu Kaunteya. The seasons are changing, our life is changing. The same way, the happiness and distress takes the place of each other. We can live under the rules of spiritual world here. Those who are actually engaged in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be disunited in any circumstance. Make sure you are not disunited. This makes the Supreme Personality of Godhead very happy and willing to award all kinds of benedictions to his devotees, as indicated in this verse. We can see that the Lord is immediately prepared to award all benedictions to the sons of King Prachinabarhishat. And the next verse is of same importance. The Lord continued, those who remember you every evening of every day will become friendly with their brothers and with all other living entities. We can say we're not prachetas, right? 100% we're not. But prachetas can be friends like that. They can be very close friends. And Krishna is saying about other living entities. He said that everyone will have the same benediction if he would just remember you. If someone satisfies the Lord, it means every living entity gets this benediction. In fact, we can see this. The world is changing. There are a few of us comparing to the whole world, but the world is changing. No one could change the path of this civilization before Prabhupada. It was doomed. No one could really say something against this false religion or politics, or something like that. They would end up in prison, or if you talk about the nuclear weapon. The world is changing, it's getting the good more and more. I can see it through a few decades. Not so much time has passed. At the same time, I see that it's impossible to change the character of nature. Material nature you cannot change. Daivahesha gunamai. You can only engage it in the service of Krishna, but it stays the same. Everyone who has this material body stays the same, but because there is an influence of the devotees, preaching devotees, it is being changed. Those who help in them also changing it. Thanks to benediction of Krishna, we are into this mission impossible. We're just getting used to it with the time. We're getting used to prasadam, and because we're conditioned souls, everything we do, we think we get used to it. But in order not to have this conditioning, we need to go over. Even though I got this first and second initiation, I'm not perfect. I have my second initiation. Oh, I'm Brahman. I can relax. I have the prasadam and the deities, no problem. The initiation is just the beginning. We are beginners. This is required connection with the Sohridam, with the spiritual master. Deep connection. It is required in order to get bhakti. If we don't develop this deep relationship, how do we really develop it with the spiritual master? If he is far away, that he's not even getting to come. He has his own business. He doesn't even remember me after many years. After my initiation, he might not even remember me. This is material. But relationship with the spiritual master is spiritual. I don't even tend to see my spiritual master very often. But I'm very regularly seeing him in Mayapur, of course. It's not like I've been serving him personally. I don't even have the language or qualification to serve him in this condition. I wouldn't be able to see his schedule that he sleeps only 2 hours a day. I wouldn't be able to stand that service that should be provided to my spiritual master. How do I keep the connection with him? I need it. Without my connection with Diksha Guru, I'm nobody. I told him that Guru Maharaj, a person with no guru, he's nobody.
Его нет, нуль, шунья.
He's zero, he's shunya. That's his position.
Уже поэтому я вас прибежище ищу.
That's why I'm looking for
Я хочу
your
быть личностью, хочу
association,
служить Кришне.
and I want to serve Krishna.
Несколько было встреч,
I
но
had
я
several
чувствовал
meetings,
это сердце,
but I felt
это
his
то, что в
heart.
моем сердце.
This is
Всегда
what
это чувствую.
in my heart
Как же к этому не
also,
привыкнуть? А надо служить.
how to be,
Надо просто служить.
not to be conditioned.
Но Гуру Махарадж
I need
служит
to
круглые сутки.
continue serving. My Guru Maharaj
Она
is
по ночам
serving
кричит Гауранга,
24/7.
Гауранга, Гауранга.
He screams Gauranga when he's
И когда он говорит о
sleeping.
Прабхупаде, у него
When
слезы
he
льются.
speaks about Prabhupada, he has tears in his
Прабхупада
eyes.
давно нет уже физически в этом мире. Мой Гуру Махарадж говорит о нем, плачет.
Has long gone from this world physically, but
Не только
he
он.
talks about Prabhupada and he's crying.
Индрарджуна Махарадж рассказывал про Брамананду Свами.
And not only him, Indrajuna Maharaj was talking about Brahmananda Swami.
Это один из
He
первых
passed
учеников
away
Прабхупады. И
already.
успешно
He's
советовал.
one of the first
Был очень
disciples,
близко с Прабхупадой, очень близко.
Prabhupada. He got his sannyas and he was the closest one to Prabhupada from the
И
very
вот когда
beginning.
уже Прабхупада ушел, говорит,
And when
приехал в храм,
Prabhupada left, he came to the
Индрарджуна
temple,
Свами
and
провел храм.
Indrajumna Swami was there.
И Брамананда Свами
And
спросил,
Brahmananda Swami, he
о
asked
чем мне говорить на Бхагаватам, скажи?
Indrajumna
Твой
Swami,
храм,
what should I
твое управление.
speak on the
Что
Bhagavatam?
сказать? Ну как? Ну ты самый близкий ученик Прабхупады.
And Indrajumna Maharaj said,
Мы ждем.
you are the closest to Srila Prabhupada. That's
Брамананда
what
Свами
we
пришел на
expect.
лекцию.
You need to talk about Prabhupada.
Сел,
And
взял
Brahmananda
стих.
Swami, he came to
Он начал
give the
говорить.
class,
Он
Bhagavatam
сказал,
class, and he started
Шрила
to say,
Прабхупада.
Srila Prabhupada.
Потом замер.
And then
Полились
he
слезы.
paused and started to cry.
Он пытался это удержать, не смог и ушел в
He
комнату.
was,
Больше вместе не
he was trying to hold it,
говорил.
and he couldn't. And he had to leave the room.
Все
And
были под сильным
that
впечатлением.
was the end of the class.
Вот как
Everyone
Прабхупада.
was so much
А
impressed
как это
by it.
поддерживается, скажите? Ну, все же люди забывают рано или поздно эти
How
все
do you
вещи.
keep that
Время
level?
идет, в конце концов, уже новые отношения
With the
складываются. с
time you
кем-то,
get
жизнь идет дальше и так
conditioned
далее.
and you have new relationship with someone, association.
Если даже ребенок
Life
умер,
goes
другой
on.
ребенок есть, как-то мы
When your
переключаемся,
child
да,
is-
даже из тяжелых
When your
случаев.
child dies, you have new one, and you
Здесь то есть
switch your attention to
как
to
через
another
преданное
one.
служение.
But through devotional service, you still keep that
Отношения
focus.
вечные, говорится.
Your relationship is
служите
eternal while you're
Никогда не
serving
забудете.
Krishna. You will never forget your acharyas.
Вы никогда не отвергнете своих
You will
ачарьев, не забудете
never
своих ачарьев.
Reject your acharyas or forget them.
Когда Нарисимхадев убил
When Nrisimhadev killed Hiranyakashipu,
и вышел на арену Прохлад Махарадж,
and Prahlad Maharaj came
безмятежный,
out,
чистый, преданный,
this pure devotee, shining one,
то Нарисимхадев просил,
Нрисимхадев
сказал, ну, проси, чего хочешь.
said, you can ask whatever you want from
Он
me.
просил об отце, говорит, об отце не проси.
And he was asking about father, and he said, no, you don't need to
Естественно,
ask
что он
about your
соглашался только
father's destiny. He's a liberated one
Что
because
ж ты
he's
попросишь?
your father. What are
Для
you
себя
gonna
что
ask for yourself?
А, Прохлад Махарадж сказал,
Prahlad said,
дай мне благословение.
please give me a benediction.
Всегда помнить моего гуру,
Always to remember my guru,
Нарада Муни,
Narada Muni,
который дал мне сознание.
that gave me the Krishna consciousness, and he awakened love for God in me. I don't
Таков
want
Кришна.
anything else.
Это он
That's
любит,
Krishna. He loves
он
it.
очень любит. Когда мы любим друг друга,
When we love
добры
each
ко
other,
всем,
when we're kind to
несем
each other,
духовные знания,
when we're
терпим
preaching
неудачи свои, продолжая прославлять
and
Кришну, даже когда нам трудно.
we are, in spite of our failures, we continue.
Все, кто настроен на служение, это очень удачливые души.
Everyone who is
Настроены
focused on
на
the
поддерживание
service,
саданой, общением садху, из книг Прабхупады,
they're really sincere.
чтобы нам не забыть.
We
все
need
эти
to
вещи.
keep the
Пока мы
association with the
благословленные души,
sadhus.
нам нужно прилагать такие усилия.
While we are conditioned souls, we need to make
Итак,
these
здесь
actions.
я осыплю благословениями всех, кто
Those who
утром и
remember
вечером
you
будет
every
обращаться ко
evening
мне
of
с
every day
молитвами.
will become
Возле
friendly
Господа
with their
Шивы.
brothers and with all other
Это
living
позволит им
entities.
осуществить все свои желания и вместе с тем обрести
Those
ясный разум.
will have this enlightened intelligence. And the reason of this luck is friendship.
Хорошо. Будут ли у нас вопросы сегодня? Так.
Are there any questions?
У меня трудная задача. Начнем по часовой стрелке. Так.
Okay, let's start from this way. Thank you for this nice class. What about this freedom in the spiritual world? I would like you to go deeper in this. Because I've heard that in the spiritual world, everyone is being guided. And this desire for freedom is more like a Mayavadi thing, who tend to get liberation. I understand there should be some kind of balance. The freedom should be under guidance in the society. The guidance, spiritual guidance, means bhav. For example, one wants to serve Krishna, but he has no taste. He heard the philosophy, but still has no taste so far. How can he be engaged in devotional service? There are some devotees in the world that preaching through the internet, they are not engaged or associated with ISKCON, but they just start to chant japa, but they have no service, and they will not start the service until they see the devotees. So, but when they see the devotees, they will get this bhav to start the devotional service. So, when you serve under the guidance of Manjari, it means they give you this inspiration, this bhav, and you just fly around providing service. Spiritual guidance means self-control. It's not control from the outside. This bhav that you get engages you in the self-control. When someone in the spiritual world is saying you need to make this for Krishna, the receiver is like in ecstasy that I'm allowed to do this for Krishna. This is how grateful he is. This is a reward that has no match. Just like when Yashoda is asking him to wrap the Krishna's breakfast for him. The Yashoda is so merciful, so kind, that she is allowing everyone to serve Krishna. He's engaging everyone. You can't even dream of it. What are you going to do? You might go unconscious if you would think about it. This is spiritual guidance. How do you open heart to equals? You need to do it gradually, step by step. The life with no taste is only work, and it might get you dry, but bit by bit, with the devotees, you need to have this relationship in a very conscious way. bit by bit you make this relationship where you can open your heart. Not with everyone we do. We need to choose our friends carefully. It's interesting. Sometimes we don't choose the one, but he chooses you. And with the time you understand he's your real friend. At first you wouldn't choose him because Maya, it puts some illusion on you. But with the time, if you want such a relationship, you will develop it. You will try it first with those you like, isn't it? And you will not do it with those you don't like. But we don't know who is going to be our friend. Krishna knows. What is the difference between the friendship and to be too close to each other? Familiarity. Well, it's close. It starts with the Sakya ras. The Dasya ras wouldn't allow it. In Sakya ras, it's allowed. Arjuna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, I was calling you, Krishna, dear Krishna, I was calling you Yadava, my friend, or I would tell you were too honest when you were saying something. That was familiarity is very close to a friendship, but what we need to pay attention to, that we should not get into this material relationship, that we see no value in each other. So that's why in the friendship rasa, we need to have some dasya rasa. Still, we need to continue to be servants. When dasya is enriching, with Sakya, it becomes Vatsalya. Dasya, Sakya, and Vatsalya becomes Madhurya. Madhurya has all the rasas. In the material world, they get to the level of Madhurya, and it has no other rasas. No, it will not make you happy. You need to learn how to become servants to each other, then to love like friends do, then to take care like parents do, and then only then you can be in Madhurya Ras. So first, you get in the service, and then friendship, and then love, and then this taking care of. In the Western world, it's not like this. People are falling in love, and that's all they do. And then we understand what the outcome of it may be.
Ну, от джаза там раз 50, не знаю, как тут. Придумай что-нибудь. Ну, можно сказать так, что если вы чувствуете какое-то напряжение с кем-то и уже вот-вот думаете...
If you feel like you have some tension with someone, and you have all reasons for it, and you can even put it on the paper and write down your thoughts, and the other side might do the same, I would suggest, in this case, to read Srila Prabhupada's books for an hour and a half. If there is a conflict in your heart already, it might not be enough you will need to keep it, hold on to any actions and just tolerate it, even for many years. There is an example of an elephant that is in a Chinese store. The China stores in India has the piles of china piled up one on top of another. If you make one wrong step, you will break everything. For Hindus, it's fine. They will not break it because they're fine with it, but they're careful. But in the Western world, they will not do it like this. They're too rajas. In India, they see no risk in that because everyone is intelligent. But if an elephant comes, then no, keep him away. I will be bankrupt immediately. So don't let an elephant get into your relationship. Any pain you given to someone, it stays there in the people's heart. Be careful, be attentive. In Kali Yuga, we're usually being taught that you need to be brave when there is a conflict. Don't be brave. Go and tell him. Answer him. You can tolerate it if you're a man. You need to have intelligence. So they put it upside down, the materialists. There is a solution for every conflict. You need to have this intelligence, this deep knowledge. By preaching, by offering this knowledge, you can even talk indirectly to him. You just talk about it. Not to get more followers than the other one has, but you just talk it tell it to Krishna and about Krishna, and whatever you say in this manner, devotees will hear it. Sooner or later, he will hear it with his heart. So it was forbidden at a certain time by GBC to use asana for your own politics, to oppose some opinions. There's Bhagavatam, that's what you need to talk about. Don't mix your politics with Srimad Bhagavatam. The politics should be there. There are some rules, of course, and there is war ethics. We should know it also. Bhagavatam is Bhagavatam, and this management is management, and the family life is also there. We need to know all of it, and it can be connected only by spiritual, only Supreme Personality of Godhead. He connects it into one system. At first, who do we start developing our connection with? We get the Sambandha Gyan, we have the connection with the Supreme Lord, and then we understand that all the living entities are his particles.
Не сначала. Это говорят люди, которые уже знают о Кришне. Это преданные говорят, верно же? Да?
The devotees, they usually talk about marriage or some relationship with the close ones, because they already know about Krishna. There is a tendency to speak about certain things. There was one tendency not to deal with the family and just to preach about the Lord directly. And now there is another tendency, we need to start with the relatives and then eventually get to the speaking about the Lord. No, it's all right. It's all wrong. We're not following this. We should be in the golden middle. Our life should be regulated. To get out of the conflict, do I use my heart or intelligence? You need to apply your intelligence and devotion that we have, because we do it for Krishna. We can't really solve it for ourselves or for the offender's sake. It will be material. We need Krishna consciousness, because we cannot accept the offender into our heart. We cannot embrace him. It's closed. Our heart is closed. So we do it for Krishna. Frankly speaking, in this world, the Bhagavatam says, we are not tend to be friends with all the living entities in this world. It's just the position of Madhyam. We can be neutral. We should be neutral, and it's fine. We are kind. We are neutrally kind. We don't touch each other. Just like two sannyasis, the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, they were having different opinions on one topic, and they couldn't find the solution, and they went to Srila Prabhupada and they shared this with him, and he said, oh, you should not be together. One should be preaching in one side, in one part of the world, and another one should be preaching in another part of the world. And they're neutral. There should be friendship among devotees. You are very lucky if you have devotees and Krishna-conscious friends. It's not always like that. What should I do if there are two sides, equal relationship, but one side is more neutral and the other one is trying to have the association? You need to find this distance, the distance of peace. It's like a pandemic here in Kazakhstan. In the culture of Kazakhs, to hug each other when I meet everyone, and now you need to be neutral, but they immediately do it and everybody's sick. And they said, we need to forget our Kazakh culture for this time being. We are the same. Devotees are always hugging each other. No, we need to be neutral first. This is our start. Kind and neutral. And we think about others kindly. nicely.
научитесь. Это будет очень полезно.
That would be really useful.
Один преданный, он все
One devotee, he
критиковал
was
вообще,
thinking
всех вообще. В уме
and
вообще
criticizing,
а служение делает.
but still engaged in the
Делает
service.
служение, ну, а в уме ад просто.
And in his
И
mind,
приехал в духовную
there's
учитель
lots of
Гопал Кришна
critics.
Госвами,
And his spiritual master, Gopal
Кто
Krishna
рассказал?
Goswami, came.
Ученик его. Меня, говорит, ты издалека видел? Я говорю, такой-то,
And
такой-то, да.
once he
Я
saw
говорю, да. То, что ты делаешь, это очень хорошо.
that
Что делаешь,
devotee,
очень плохо. И пошел.
he said, your service
Издалека видел.
is nice,
Думаете, это не видно?
but what's going on in your mind is not so good.
Это, конечно, видно. Думайте хорошо.
You need to think properly, nicely.
Не буду. Потому что это есть, да. Надо попробовать.
No, I refuse to do it. But you need
Об
to
этом не
try
буду.
it.
А Дхам делает по-другому.
Ardayadham
Вы
is
закройте глаза. Говорит.
making it differently. He's
И
like,
всем желайте счастья.
close your
Только
eyes
глаза не открывайте, хорошо?
and wish happiness to everyone. But don't open your eyes.
Женщинам труднее, то, что мы сейчас говорим.
It's harder for
Поэтому
the
еще одна
women to
ремарка
fulfill it.
для мужчин.
There's another mark point
Женщинам
for
много раз труднее
men.
следовать таким наставлениям.
Women
Когда
are
они там
harder to follow these
критикуют там или
instructions when
нервничают,
they're criticizing
не
or
обвиняйте их слишком.
nervous. Don't blame them too hard.
Думайте о них как о детях.
Think about them as they are
Больно, он
children.
кричит, вот и все.
It's
Хорошо,
painful,
он смеется.
that's why he's screaming. It's
Это
good,
вот эта половина.
that's why he's laughing
Обвинять их за
immediately.
это не нужно. Нужно
So
просто
they are not to
сделать
be
порядок в этой
blamed
стране,
because of
в этой
this.
половине.
We need to make
Начинайте вот с этой половины, если хотите что-то улучшить.
that side
Эта половина
good.
автоматически улучшается.
The other side is improving automatically. How do I get rid of this
Любить
duality,
Кришну.
good and bad, and etc., etc.? You need to develop your love for Krishna.
Ты уже призналась в любви к Кришне, нет? Точно?
Did you
Окончательно?
say Krishna you love him? You did? Okay, then
Ну, ты
now
можешь
develop it.
изучить философию, изучение философии это
You can study the philosophy.
нужно всем. Мы не
Everyone
мужчины, не
needs it.
женщины, мы
We are
вайшнавы,
not women
философии не
or
говорите.
men. We are all Vaishnavas.
Читайте
So
книги Прабхупады,
don't
обсуждайте, как можно чаще это делать и при
escape
каждом удобном
the
случае.
philosophy
Читайте Прабхупады. Это
and read the Prabhupada's books. Read Prabhupada's books whenever you can.
как Ямуна вспоминает о Прабхупаде. Это
Just
удивительно.
like Yamuna,
Книга она написала.
she has a big memoirs
Матри
book.
Вишаха тоже написала.
And
книгу.
Mataji Vishakha wrote her book.
Это супруга,
Amazing.
я думаю,
She's wife of Yadubar Prabhu,
написала книгу. Фотограф профессиональный
The
высокого уровня. Она
professional
фотографии,
photographer.
журналов для Бхактагодхита. Она написала книгу тоже воспоминания. И также коснулась
She
темы,
wrote her
что
book,
вот женщины там, когда
and
были
she had
подавлены,
some memories
да, коснулась этой темы. так
about this
Ну, честно все.
suppression of women.
Ему написала те моменты,
And Yamuna
которые
was
никто бы
talking
никогда не
about it.
опубликовал, как Прабхупада был добр.
And she was that no one ever published, and how
Потом
kind
я
Prabhupada was.
встречал Нагапатни,
And then I met Nagapatni Mataji,
Прабхупада из Америки. Она была в Новом
Prabhupada's
Вриндаване,
disciple. She
рассказывала,
was in New Vrindavan, and she was telling
что она подметала,
that she was
убирала
sweeping
полы
the
там,
floors,
в том доме, где Прабхупада
cleaning the
оставался в
floors
Вриндаване.
in the house where Prabhupada was
Когда
living
Прабхупада
in
уходил на
Vrindavan.
прогулку,
And when Prabhupada
она
was
убирала,
out
Прабхупада
for a
никогда не
morning
убирала,
walk,
убирала. Всё
she
убирала
would
и
be
уходила.
in
Прабхупада заходил в
and
чистую
clean
комнату.
everything, and Prabhupada
А тут
and leave.
случилось,
And
что
Prabhupada
Прабхупада
once
вышел,
suddenly
как
he
обычно, в своей
he
походке,
came
так
back
уже ушел. Она вошла со всеми
unexpectedly,
инструментами,
and she
делала
was
уборку, и
all
Прабхупада
there
ушел,
with
забыл, что
her
вернулся.
tools and everything,
Она была в шоке, у нее все
and she
смешалось.
was in shock. She didn't know what to do,
знала, куда мести, куда складывать.
where to
Все становилось
put the
ступор.
trash and what to
Прабхупада
do,
смотрел
and
на меня,
Prabhupada was staring at her,
что-то там.
what she was doing.
И в конце концов села на пол и заплакала. Ничего не
I-
получается.
In the end, she sat down and started to cry
Прабхупада взял
because
цветок,
nothing
отрезал, оторвал.
worked. And Prabhupada got a flower of his garland, and
Взяла еще больше.
he gave it to her,
Он
and
говорит,
she
что
started to
это
cry even
нехорошо,
more.
вот это делается.
He said,
Как с детьми? Они чувствовали любовь.
"Isn't it good?
Все
It's
чувствовали
just
эту любовь.
children. They
Духовную
feel
любовь.
the love.
Конечно, есть опасность, если у нас много вожделения, то эта любовь может
Of
быть
course,
непонятно во что.
there's a
В случае
danger
немало.
if we have some
Да, есть
lust,
такой риск.
then
Но в сердце вы
that
должны
would
иметь
love,
любовь.
that love would be
Стараться в сердце.
might
Вы
become
даже
something
не
else.
проявляете эти вещи, как Прабхупада. В сердце вы должны уважать.
But in our heart, we need to respect, even though we don't reveal our attitude sometimes, but we need to respect
У них
those
незаменимая роль в движении.
the women. They
Самую
have
большую работу делают женщины в движении сейчас.
the most work in our society nowadays. They make all the hard work.
Руководят, сражаются.
The men, they are
А кто лечит
trying to
раненых,
direct
это всё поддерживает.
and fight, and they healing them
Так,
afterwards.
весь вред от мужчин только.
So the men are the
Ну, когда они
wrongdoers.
чистые преданные, это не так, конечно.
Of course, if they are pure devotees, unalloyed devotees, then it's not like that.
Так, теперь женщинам стало приятно, видите?
Okay, now this side feels better now,
Хотя они еще, может быть, ничего хорошего не сделали, такого,
even though
но им
they
приятно. Но они стараются.
you see everybody is trying.
Махарадж, благодарю вас за лекцию. Можно я сейчас, возвращаясь к теме желтой пищи в отношениях, может быть, даже похвастаюсь и в то же время прославлю. Мне после ваших слов я осознала, что мне очень повезло в духовной жизни. У меня есть друг, подруга, сестра, мать. Как вы перечислили все отношения, они вкупе, равновален. Мангала Девидаси. Вам известны и много.
Listening to you, I realized that I have all sorts of relationship.
Я понимаю, что эти отношения
Um,
длились долго.
I have a mother and sister, and
Лет в духовной жизни.
I'm also a friend.
Я понимаю, что эти отношения, они строились
And this
бесплатно, чтобы они были
relationship
как вы их описываете. И вместе с тем, вот преданные
gives me the understanding how lucky I am that
отношения, они приходят, может быть, даже из отношений.
in this Krishna consciousness,
Таких друзей вы советуете сохранять такое нейтральное отношение. Но в то же
so
время
you have instructions that we need to keep neutrality, neutral attitude.
Нет,
Mostly.
нет. Любой преданный ваш друг.
No, any devotee is your friend,
В разной степени, конечно.
in
Это
more or
степень. Мы сейчас о
less.
степени не говорим.
We don't
Степень
talk
как
about
раз
that.
требует времени, углубления и
It
понимания.
needs some time
Но любой
to
преданный
grow
ваш друг.
deeper.
Кому вы
But any
сделали
devotee is your
хорошую вещь,
friend.
кому вы
Those
послужили
who
духовно,
you're
это ваш друг.
served
Искать не
is
надо,
your
нужно служить
friend.
преданным.
There is no need to search for friends. You need to serve the
Дружба
devotees, and the friendship will be revealed
Через служение все.
through the service.
Я еще был совсем молодым,
I was still very young, and before Krishna consciousness, 7 years before Krishna consciousness,
Я попал в больницу.
I got into the hospital.
Сепсис.
I had some sepsis,
А я лежал там с температурой.
and I had a
Что-то мне
fever,
сделали, я там где-то сутки
and
не
something.
просыпался вообще.
I was treated, and I
А
was
когда
sleeping
проснулся, я
for
чувствовал
like
себя в токсинах еще.
24 hours,
Никакой.
still intoxicated when I
палата
woke
вообще.
up.
И там тоже были разные люди. Один там был молодой парень, такой же, как
And
я,
there
молодой.
were some people in the
Он
same
ходил как
room.
здоровый уже, там смеялся. Как
He was
будто, ну,
one guy. He was walking,
он увидел, что я
looking
глаза открыл.
healthy. He saw me
И он
opening
меня
my
так
eyes,
осмотрел, какой-то тут странный парень ходит. Я никогда
and
с таким человеком не познакомился.
I was staring at him,
Сразу оценишь,
thinking, He's pretty strange. I would never deal with this type of personality. But he did an interesting thing for me. Immediately he sat down next to me on my bed, and I was like, what is going on? And smiling, he flooded me with the candies, and it touched my heart so much. Immediately I changed my attitude. Afterwards, we've been walking together, and so when you are share, when you give presents and accept presents, when you share the prasadam, accept the prasadam, that's what changes you. Friendship is not that you just criticize. I mean, you too close to be able to talk. It needs some time to be that close to someone. If you see someone doing like this, you need to stop him and remind him. In that case, you are a guru for him. And if you are in that situation, that guy should stop and remind you about Krishna consciousness. This is friendship. This is honest friendship. If your friend is giving you a speech, then you think, oh, then probably you're not my friend. But it means you don't know how to be friends with people. You have no qualities. You will be left with no friends. Okay, we'll stop here.
Это бездумное становится существование. Сказали, сделал, сказали, сделал, сказали, сделал. А суть-то называется сознание Кришны.
All you expect is just to get instructions, and then you can do. But that means you're thoughtless. When you're engaged in devotional service, you need to feel your heart is being purified. Otherwise, there would be just like an exploitation. So when you serve Krishna, you need to feel the purification. Prabhupada didn't want everyone just to be engaged in the work, hard labor. He was like, you need to read about Krishna and discuss about Krishna. And if you're just waiting for some instructions in Krishna consciousness, that would be very naive. Simplicity and in ignorance. The person is simple and he's saying, okay, but that would be foolishness. But at the time, if he's doing it and he's not getting this spiritual progress and his faith grows, then it's wrong. That's why in India, ISKCON, it was falsely accused that they do not have bhakti, they only have outside work, those night facades. Instead of spiritual work, if you are engaged only in mundane work, then you become a bull. It's not enough. So there should not be thoughtless activity. Okay?
Шрила Прабхупада ки джай.